Well, hello, hello. It's been a long time. I wasn't even sure where I put most of my stupid things. I'm not even sure what this game's gonna be like. Will it be voice acted, or what? Downloadable content has been found. So I did get a code added to the game that gave me art and sounds that were removed or like were added to this version of it. Just came in the box, so like neat. Let's see. Oh yeah, let me make sure actually. There we go. Turn up the sound a bit so you can hear things. And if you can't, well, I'm sorry. Do I want screen flashes on? We'll see how bad they are. If they're like really flashy. Select alternative outfits? What? Only available for use in the Great Ace Attorney 2. I don't want to change them from their default yet. New adventure. Now the question is this fully voiced?
The Empire of Japan.
Most of it
After
probably
opening
is.
its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation.
And so they set up square buildings to take over the
revolution
world.
washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling.
And
It was
very
a period
douche.
of great change, and some was swept away by the tide.
Literally. Oh no. Not that literally. Oh
But
no.
for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
I accidentally shot a guy. We've already gone past the point of no return. Are we Edgeworth? I thought we were the defense attorney, but we're getting Edgeworth right away. Even the text is shooting me. Antechamber 5. Alright, so most of it is not voice acted, which is better for the stream. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors of this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? I see the guards are still the same. What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares, murderer! I'm not a murderer. Sorry. No, you're supposed to reject the idea that you're a murderer. My name is Ryusuke Naruhodo. You can just call me Nick, though. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, waiting my trial. That's enough! That's enough monologuing! Oh, different person. I thought I was the guard again. Yelling at me for monologuing in my brain. In a courthouse, not even your own thoughts are defended. It's not obligated to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yeah. Till the judge getting his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. But can't you tell by the wind rustling my hair tie? And yet I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryusuke? Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry. Were you... What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, I suppose that wasn't my fault. Sorry. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologizing like some kind of blue mage nerd. Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspaper these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, my nose clipped into my face for a second there. You didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not! You have to believe me! I didn't do it! I could never murder someone. Ha! Sounds like a confession to me. Nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up, hold your head high. Hello, Gum. Hope you're having a good day. And don't die. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryusuke. I like calling him Ryusuke. What else should I call him? Just Ryu? Kazuma Asogi, my best friend. Also in his second year at Yume University. He's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. He'll probably die. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive, considering he's still an undergraduate. Not that impressive. Also, I was reading your mind. You really shouldn't monologue out loud, you know. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old. Here in Japan, anyway. That's why they're gonna be such nonsense in this game, and probably stay that way for years to come. My qualifications don't mean much, yet. Said exactly the same thing 3 days ago, but I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. And 3 days ago. Yeah, that's when this all started. Congratulations, Kazuma. Looks like you're gonna get to study abroad at last. I know. I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. Even though I wouldn't have any successes in court, as I would not have been qualified before just now. So be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. America. Not to be confused with America. Totally different. Really happy for you and proud as your friend. Are we the Larry? Oh no, we're the Larry. Thought we might be the Edgeworth, but we're the Larry. Not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. Of time! I want to bring about a change in our own legal system, to where it's a bunch of nonsense and the lawyers have to do detective work. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes, and be confused when they solve puzzles instead of crimes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. We will in the next game. Then come with me. Have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. My tea has stopped smoking. I'd better get going. Alright, I'll see you later. Think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. And also finish your tea. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. Sing you in the English class tomorrow, then, partner in crime. And then he faded away. Oh dang, so did his tea. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Asogi, may I have a word? He looks like an important man. You can tell with the way his hair is slicked back, and also gray. Professor, I didn't know you were coming.
Yes. Yes, well, this case has personal significance to me. You murdered my son. Never mind that for now. Asogi. You should go immediately to the judge's chambers, where he will probably murder you.
To His Excellency's chambers, why?
Looking for you before. Advocating for the defense of this trial was sudden decision. Seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result.
Who is this man? Feels as though I've seen him at the university before. I see. I'll go once then. I shall accompany you, but I also won't. Alright then, Runescape. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yeah, thanks, Kazuma. Sure hope you don't get murdered or something.
I'm also here, but I'm not gonna look at you.
This is awkward.
Oh, now I'm looking at you. If I may,
Yeah, sorry?
you must be the defendant. Ryusuke Naruhodo, I believe.
Yeah, most people call me right, though.
My name is Yujin Mikotoba.
It's a little weird that they didn't change the names, too, but... You know, they changed Phoenix Wright to, well, Phoenix Wright. But... They didn't change this guy's name to Phoenix Wright. I guess because he's the ancestor. You know, I like the visuals of this one already. It's like polished versions of the older ones, but like not too out of place.
My name is Yujin Mikotoba, professor of the forensic medicines at Yume University.
Ah, Professor Mikotoba. Heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad.
As Sogi's told me. You are he and your best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know.
Yeah, also he's in Japan, and Phoenix is definitely in Redacted. Not California. That's copyrighted. No, what?
Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asarugi has been granted permission to go study in Great Britain. However, if I fail to defend today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again.
What?
As I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asugi may have chosen to not tell you.
He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered? Yeah, it's that country, known for their noodle burgers. Also, hello, OP. Hope you're having a good day. I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing?
Because it's the government. Does it need a reason? Administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. We don't have that many boats, dang it. It's like 1732. I have like 10 boats. Very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances.
I don't believe it. But I didn't do it. I swear it. I'm no murderer.
I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. But we'll do it in 20 minutes. You see, there are certain particularities about today's trial.
Sorry? What do you mean?
You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway.
I have the feeling I'm not gonna understand, but what should I do?
Well, naturally, I'm not gonna suggest doing anything that could lead to conviction.
Right, so I shouldn't shoot the judge, right?
As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer for anyone else. You must say, I do.
I do? Well, what will the question be? Surely not, do you accept the accusations brought before you?
Oh, of course not.
Defend it, I've cloned myself. There was definitely only one guard before, right?
Defend it, I've cloned myself and have come to strong-arm you into the courtroom. Court's about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. See my serpentipitus, that's a word. Discussions are to be cut short. Now allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asugi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for?
Cloned mage Burly Hikari 3-1. How greatly can a cloned Burly attorney?
Not very well. I'm not very good at defending myself, but thanks so much for the 28 months in a row resub, Reslane. Hope you're having a good day.
What are you waiting for? Want to be found guilty of failing to appear?
I'm right here, shut up!
Get moving. No point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway.
These bailiffs are awful. This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder.
And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, Ryunosuke embarked on that unforgettable trial. He then forgot about it.
My one and only chance of proving my innocence. The trial that would decide my destiny. My dueling destiny. Wait, no, that's not this game. I know it's supposed to be those old typewriter kind of things, but it definitely sounds like the text boxes are shooting me. 22nd of November, 9 a.m., Supreme Court. Judy captured courtroom 2. Why are we in courtroom number 1? How do you just have that flowing in the wind so gently? This is a courtroom. I gotta absorb it all with my eyes. Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have that one. I wouldn't be able to capture it if I did have it, but if I could figure out an alternative, I would maybe consider it. This is the Supreme Court of whatever. This is the Supreme Court of Judy, Judge Judy. No court in the land has more power than her. I don't like the looks of those people sitting in the public gallery. It's almost like they're expressionless pawns just there to make noise. Comic Sans do make a killing.
I mean, look at Undertale. Made a killing with one song.
Lots of military and other uniforms there. Proves that we have... The powers that be have demanded this be a secret trial. A secret trial? But it's public news! Trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? Why? It'll become clear in time. But for now, watch as my headband just continues to flow in the wind that is not in this room. Need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. Oh no, he doesn't have a beard? Oh, okay, he does have a beard. Different guy. I don't even remember what voice I gave the court. The judge. It's been so long. But also his beard is so brown and not old.
The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
The prosecution's ready, Your Excellency.
As is the defense. Before we begin, there's one point of order I'd like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate.
That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Ryunosuke, stop glancing over at me. I will poke your eyes out.
Normal procedure for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to the trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I'm obliged to ask for a final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defense in this trial?
This is it. This must be the question. Who's gonna defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do... I need to answer quickly. What should I do? I know. I do! Your Excellency. Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who advocate for his defense. Yes! Hand in the air.
What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? It even had a text box.
I'd like to inform the court that I, Ryusuke Naruto, will be defending myself.
You'll be... What? Can't do that.
What are you playing at, Ryusuke? And also, I'm not even really that upset by the looks of it. Esther Mikotoba told me everything just now before the trial. He did what? Said your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose.
How sad. Means you don't have faith in me. Think I won't be able to get you up.
No, it's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you...
Yes, I knew that's how you feel. Which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotoba should have stuck his nose in. His giant gray nose. Very well. Court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial.
Well, the accused admit defeat already. Renouncing his own counsel, really.
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel.
Merely shows the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Can't you tell by the way his eyes are dashing back and forth? Isn't that so, Naruhodo? Huh? Oh, I didn't realize you were talking to me. Yeah, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. Not confident at all. In fact, my mind's complete blank. Realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a minute, university said to be brought before the Supreme Court. You must have perpetrated the most heinous crime indeed.
As you're no doubt aware, this is Supreme Court adjudicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very high standards of conduct are expected for all present, including not bringing fans to my courtroom. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo?
Yeah, yes, Your Excellency.
Therefore, my duty to assess your competence for the task you've undertaken.
My competence? What does that mean? It's not gonna be very high. Question your ability to do the job. Well, you can't be questioning it more than I am.
Start with the very simplest of questions.
Yes.
Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case.
Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I care to remember. In fact, I don't remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous, I can't even remember that. What was it again?
Ryusuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank.
You know me so well. All the relevant information in this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's not a button on the screen. Simple, you can access the court record with the press of R. Press of R? How do I press R?
Ever feel like you've forgotten something, or just consult that. It's all in there.
I just have to press R for the court record? Alright, there's no time to lose, but also what?
This is a list of evidence you've collected. Try switching to people with R. Find the details about the victim here. When you're done, press B to go back. So he's 23.
He's my best friend. Despite being a student, a qualified defense lawyer as well.
42.
Medical school professor at the Imperial Yume University. Authority of forensic medicine in Kazuma's mentor.
51.
Lead prosecutor of this case, who would appear to have little love for the changes the culture of information has brought about.
Victim of this case, John H. Wilson.
He was a visiting professor of medicine at Yume University from the British Empire.
So remember, everything to do with the case can be found in the court record. Now you better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, then press X to present. Try it now. Yes! Low battery. I was playing too much Pokemon. Wait 1 second.
Yeah, the victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson.
Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university.
Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, which means we'd barely known him. Invited to UMA University 3 years ago. Never mind, I contradicted myself with my ad-libbing. Indeed. Which is why the case has such profound implications. The British Empire is, at present, our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together, and then you murdered them after lengthy negotiation.
It's so luck-based, and I'm still so annoyed that there's a limit on how many things I can do from playing. I also did watch a video of someone who dumped $100 into the game and leveled up a bunch of items with it, and that's all they did. And they were just destroying people left and right. And while it's stupid broken, and definitely has that pay-to-win value to it, at the same time I was thinking, I haven't spent a single cent, and I think I can do the exact same thing. I just don't have the Pokemon for it. And I upgraded the wrong item. But yes, it's totally luck-based. And I'm surprised there isn't a Pokemon casino. Can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation, even though that name is stupid.
Yeah, despite the delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman's been spilled on our soil! Or at least a table. You two are both undergraduates at Imperial UMA University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor?
But I didn't do it. Yeah, they definitely should have stuck to vanity and speed boosting your vanity progress. It'll probably get balanced if they want to be serious with the game. Otherwise, I can't see this game lasting a year. People will realize that, oh, I can just spend $100 and become a world champion, and then what do you do from there? The game has already profited, though. It went from free to people spending over hundreds of dollars just to play a Pokemon.
Case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. Court therefore wishes to have a speedy resolution to this matter.
In other words, our feeble government scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. That's why this trial has unusual particularities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yeah, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. Well, we're all speaking English, man. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime.
Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better get going.
Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer.
Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. Are we in an anime? I feel like we just had this flashback. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. Goodbye.
British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. I've I've seen that man at the university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, because I don't have a court record. But if I press the R button, well, I'll forget later. I should go and say hello.
So I went over the professor's table, and then, wouldn't you know it, he was having a shot.
And introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. I was like, "Hey, Mr. Wilson!" And he told me to get out of his house. He didn't even live there.
Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo.
Yes, Your Excellency. I keep wanting to say Your Honor. I'm probably just gonna switch to that.
How did the Professor of Medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death.
Cause of death? Well, obviously that was,
Ryunosuke. Remember that in the court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence.
the evidence, but how?
Find the piece of evidence in the court record that the professor's cause of death is like present. Do it now! Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. Bullet did not pass through the victim's body, because he was fat.
Yes!
Oh, he gets 2 pieces of paper.
According to this document, the victim suffered from, hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma.
Not to read, you imbecile. It's post-mortem report, I take it.
Sorry, yeah, that's right. Post-mortem report. In the West, the doctor dissects the corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, the police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm gonna be tested on any of this later.
This so-called photograph printed the scene of the crime. Can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. Because this is an old-timey bullet. In other words, we should assume the victim was at close range.
Thank you, counsel. Court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the court record. You could just say evidence. So extra. Interesting that's on the left side of his chest. That's not where... Well, I guess it's right, so I don't know. Directions are stupid. I forget what organ is around there, but it's not his heart. The stake is absolutely gonna matter. That's probably why they're like, oh, it didn't pass through because the stake doesn't have a bullet in it. Or maybe they'll say it did pass through because the stake has a bullet in it. I demand the court go get this stake and make sure it's well done.
This is a photographic print. That's something I've never seen before. Really superior to a drawing. Detail's incredible.
Very well, I'm satisfied with your answer. Your 2 answers. Let us start the trial.
Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, you want to better appease the court with the facts of the case? Prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened, and is probably the real criminal.
This is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor, you mean Dr. Mikotoba?
Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me, but that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant.
Ah, of course. When you speak in the euphoria simply said, Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He didn't say you couldn't help.
Even though it's probably its own bag of worms.
Really been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? I thought he was sticking his nose in. Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. You're my tutorial buddy. Please don't die. Well, my first piece of advice is, rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first.
That was a good comeback, but say that out loud, you punk. You should banter as friends. Well, hello, waiter man.
Witness, state your name and occupation in the court, please.
Of course, my name is Satoru Kozanaga. I'm the head waiter at the Western-styled restaurant called La Carnival. I also am bleeding profusely. Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Well, it really should.
Everyone knows the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. Become a very fashionable district now. Full of hotels to accommodate the overseas guests. Take up my time getting lost in traffic. What even is traffic? Grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago.
Can't wait to go to Britain, where things will start making sense to me. Understood. Kozanaga, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir.
And no pretty introduction for the aspiring lawyer boy, please.
Well, perspiring, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have a few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits in with my memory of it, too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away the crockery and cutlery. Trying to think of what that means, like pots and pans, I guess? Or is that plates? I'm not familiar with kitchen terms. Boom! Boom went the gun. Oof went the Wilson. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out of the dining area to see what happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair. And standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university.
Yes! Hold on. Let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him.
I believe I asked you to refrain from petty introductions. Court wishes to listen to the witness's report on what he saw, you amateur.
But
Next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Ryunosuke, you'll have your chance to fight back. But now we must quietly listen to the witness.
I make inform one point, waiter. Sitting beside the victim with gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today.
Wipe that off. Yes, without question.
I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim?
No. There was no one else around the table but the deceased Englishman and the university student.
Huh? Wait, what did you say? That's not right. There was no one else around that table.
What's the matter, Ryunosuke?
That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite of him at his table.
Really?
That's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do?
Interject.
Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection! Dear me. What are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be the accused, this mere student? Is not a real lawyer after all?
But I'm sure of what I saw.
Kozanaga, was there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy? No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone.
I don't believe it.
I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please have a look if you'd like to. Or don't. Let me see. Ah yes, sketch of the establishment's layout, drawn by yourself, I presume. That's right. Afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. That doesn't prove anything. It's just a bunch of scribbles. All you did was draw an X on a piece of paper. Very well, you're clearly a very conspicuous waiter. That's not the right word, but thank you, sir. Court will take this plan and add to the court record as evidence. Oh, well, the problem. Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course, here you are. What was that about? He had been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seemed to have shaken him. There's probably something on the other side. Is it just gonna keep coughing until I press A? Yeah.
So, court is not a part of Pisces of the case. A Preces.
Yes, at the moment, the gunshot was heard in the restaurant. The only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we're looking at a black and white case here, even though it's colored. Defendant Naruhodo?
Yes, Your Excellency.
You admit your guilt at this stage. The court is willing to look mercifully upon you for murder.
In other words, you may have some small reprieve in the terms of your inevitable punishment. Call this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense if you're determined to pursue matters further in this trial. The prosecution will decisive evidence for sworn witness who are present at the scene of the crime. Prosecution has decisive evidence from the sworn witness who were present at the scene of the crime.
What?
What do you think I should do, Kazuma?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm gonna be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me this trial is just unusual about these peculiarities. You said it, Professor Mikotoba said it, and so is the judge of prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this.
As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it?
What?
If the accused is in fact innocent, then the defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence whatever means necessary. Unless you're, I don't know, being blackmailed by a walkie-talkie. Just as a random thought. Are you just gonna abandon that duty? Are you gonna give up on yourself? Battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke. Defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is.
Oh, wow, you slammed that desk really hard.
Indeed. Prosecutor Archie, please continue with the proceedings.
Tiss! Well, you were warned. Young beast so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be.
No one's called you that.
In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. Prosecutor calls its act witnesses.
Very well, officer. Bring forth the witnesses at once.
Witnesses, kindly say your names and occupation for the court.
What was the prosecutor's full name? One second. We can look. Takesuchi Ayuchi. He is the pain of this game, for sure. I mean, they look exactly the same. What's weird is we have the Edgeworth on our side this time. They did not use the translated names, I assume because we're in Japan. But I'm still sad.
Yes, sir. Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant. Isaya Nosa, reporting for duty. Sir? I myself find employ of a purveyor of the fine articles of antiquity from the effluence of your nation, Nippon. I conduct my trade of rasute, a humble premises, the second district. I don't know how to say all these words.
At your service. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing. Nah, there's no jokes.
Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant the day in question.
Must be the diners at the other table, the waiter mentioned.
Ah, right. Myself, I've happily taken tea, the most exquisite aroma of the establishment in question. Always post noon, and not infrequently converse with the interested parties regarding the curios, which I make my business, much like with Cheerios.
I can't understand a word that old man is saying.
Same.
He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. Seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell their wares to them. Obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, I wish you didn't read my mind. That sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer.
Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner, which can only be described as an act of war, sir. That black uniformed rogue infantryman over there, who unloaded his firearm, sir. What was that noise?
This man's impossible to understand as the other. I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said.
So, the decisive evidence prosecution was threatened. Is he a bunch of babies in a trench coat? Soldiers claiming they actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead.
Yeah.
Well? You starting to feel uncomfortable?
If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start, like since I pressed to play.
Now the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You'll state everything you saw at the precise moment of the incident occurred.
Oh, he's got a baby on his back. That's what the little rap is. Gotcha. I almost wish he was just a bunch of kids in a trench coat, though.
Yes, sir. Standing by the report, sir. Unsavory memories of a most back afternoon. I don't know if that one qualifies as a word. Why are my ears jiggling?
Also, two at once. Weird. Are they gonna play off each other?
I was ingesting a regular beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden Creole to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's action with my very own eyes. Black uniform varsity cadet fired the English civilian. And then we lagged. The black uniform varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously abscond present curio.
Well, that's already a contradiction right there.
Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. The wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. I'm just gonna pull a knife out in the middle of the courtroom. Times we live in, when an English gentleman may be assailed in broad daylight of day.
But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone.
That really true, Ryunosuke?
Yes!
All I did was pick up the gun I saw lying on the floor. Which is stupid. After I said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then when I finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant, when I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. I bent down, and just as I was picking it up...
Well, if that's the truth, there's obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue who that criminal was.
There is?
Ryusuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witness.
Cross-examine?
Do it now.
As we've heard, Your Excellency, there's no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses, except for, like, 5 things. The defendant is clearly guilty. I'm bringing this despicable student to justice.
Certainly, the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt unless it was a lie. Therefore, it's my grave duty to declare the verdict of this trial.
Yes!
What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst?
The defense demands the right to cross-examination. Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. Huh? How do you know? Prosecutor objects. This is a clear waste of time. Defendant obviously has no experience. How could he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Objection!
Defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant.
Kazuma is so commanding.
Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses.
Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryusuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination.
Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements.
How?
Didn't fire the gun, which means what that soldier said has to be a lie.
Well, yeah, but...
Just a case of proving it. And the key to doing that is evidence.
Right, evidence.
All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is alive. Well, it's a shame we don't have the gun, because that would also prove that he's lying. Because if what Ryusuke said is true, then that means it was a different gun that fired the bullet, so this gun would still have all its bullets loaded into it.
Let's go, Ryusuke. Don't let them beat you.
What a baby slap.
Alright then. It's all or nothing. One day I'll be able to slam my hands on the table like a real defense attorney.
Uh-huh. The L to press.
Yes! So you're saying that you actually saw me at the time?
Affirmative, I saw you laughing, cackling like a madman. You trained the barrel you got on the English civilian.
That's impossible. I only...
Allow me to confirm just one point, please.
What is that, Private?
I'm not a private. Think carefully about the statement you just made. It seems to me that must have been just after you heard the gunshot, you looked over at the victim's table.
And so what if it was?
Well, if that were really the case, it would mean that you didn't in fact see the precise moment in which the killer actually fired the gun.
And double R. My sixth sense.
Sorry?
My sixth sense of danger. I picked up the waves of murderous energy radiating from your foul mind. Which means, the split second before you pulled the trigger, I was looking at you, cadet.
Surely that's not really possible, is it?
Do you think I'd have got where I am today in the army if I couldn't sense danger in the air, son?
Well, it would seem the soldier's absolutely convinced that he saw you do the deed.
This is not good.
I got a achievement? A thing?
Oh no. Now I have things! Now I have things I have to do.
Yes!
And this one's also the biggest issue.
As this black uniform university cadet, you're saying that was...
Ah, that was you. I've had just about enough of your sauce, cadet.
not a cadet, though.
Who else do you see in a black uniform,
Well, there's someone standing right next to me who fits that description as well, but...
There was you, you little weasel. You unloaded the fire alarm under that man. From behind his back. You call yourself a citizen of the great empire of Nippon? You disgust me.
What is it, Ryusuke?
I'm not quite sure. Something that the sergeant just said, but I can't put my finger on it. Something's playing on my mind.
In that case, check back over the details of the evidence you gathered in the court record. Finding inconsistency there with what the witnesses just said, then don't hold back. Present the evidence to the court. Thrust in the witness's face and make him choke on it. Don't say that while grabbing your sword, please. Don't stab people. Ooh, we have a magnifying glass? Alright, what's in the steak? Can we look at... That's a button. His buttons don't line up, which is kind of weird. Oh, because that's his jacket and that's his inside shirt. Got it. His steak is untouched. Why would he not touch his steak? And his wine glass is empty.
Yes!
The music stopped!
Hello, Mimikyu. Hope you're having a good day. My throat hurts.
What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting some photographic print in my mustache.
Inconsistency, sir! I mean, yes! There's a clear inconsistency here.
Tisk, what nonsense! What can this possibly tell us that we don't already know?
Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth.
Things proves beyond a doubt, Your Excellency. There's no place for amateur student here in the great grand courtroom.
This is so frustrating.
Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. You can get like a whole collection of fans for like $5 or $10 on Amazon, Mimikyu, if you really want some of those. I think like 2 years ago I bought like 5 of them and gave them out to my family members. So I have one around here somewhere. I don't know where I put it. But yeah, I gave my mother one, I gave my aunt one, I gave my grandmother one. Actually, I think I gave my mother 2 because she keeps one in her car. Like a dork. Ew. To spell it out would be an insult to the court.
Yeah. Kazuma, what?
What are you talking about?
It's apparent from the single lens of this photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement.
What?
Sergeant Ayesanosa. Ayesanosa. There's definitely a pun there.
Yes, sir. What is it, sir?
The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired the Englishman civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel.
Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military great eyes,
Yes!
sir.
Yes! But no, that just can't be.
And why not, cadet?
Cause...
Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Is yes his objection? Yes.
Ah.
Sergeant, according to your witness's statement, the culprits shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it?
Well, just pushed the child down. Oh, what the? What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back and he pushed it down again.
Certainly, there's a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa?
It's been there the whole time, Mimikyu. Yes, sir, at this juncture that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were elsewhere. Firmly fixed on delicious La Carnival steak, sir. What?
Last testimony of the court heard, proving the one thing beyond reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Ayesta Nosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all.
Ah, that's absurd.
I think the conclusion we must draw is simple.
Prosecutor Ouchie.
And hello, Phoenix. Hope you're having a good day. There's no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. I like Kazuma, I think, mostly because he's clearly best friends with this guy. Like, they're standing up for each other.
Inconsistency, Seer. That's me. It's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial just from one discrepancy. This is what being an ace attorney is all about. A grand ace attorney. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there, he was pointing a firearm directly at the victim's back. But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor.
And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either.
Huh? Myself, I have already been quite clear. Gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure.
Treasure?
Indeed! The whole era at Colburn, my prize coin! On each occasion when I visit that restaurant. It's my habitude to place it on my bosom pocket. Particular trinket of interest from my shop, Racer Tay.
I am honored to meet you.
Thank you so much for the follow, Ryojutsu. Hope you're having a good day.
Hang on 1 second. Yeah.
Anyways. In the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you? On the day on the scroll date, it was the military man who I preferred my Hoei treasure. Believe that he would purchase such a rare find. I did not, but I was presented with little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more, simply vanished. The Kilbin vanished? Underground, under the table I was. In the case it may happen fallen there. And then it happened. Boom! Heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my Absecon Toei treasure, which is probably stolen by that baby. Nothing could distract me.
Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end?
No.
I see.
That lamentable day, my precious Hoei Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself.
I do not know what you're talking about. As I'm sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony in the court just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it'd be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Worry not, Your Excellency.
We are in Japan. Ye olde Japan. Canonically, actually Japan. It's not just that country this time. It is actual Japan. But it's also that country. That's why everyone's in Japanese outfits and, you know, speaks Japanese. Yes, that country. The country of that.
Bennett may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back.
What does that mean?
My witnesses have further testimony to make.
Explain.
Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. It's you! Equally despicable defendant, Ryusuke Naruhodo.
What? Really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? I don't know why. It's not like I've caused him any pain. Very well. Court invites the witnesses to testify again. You'll thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear?
As clear as Kinko glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Waiting to signal to testify, sir.
Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think.
Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through a rank, sir. Name, Ido.
I don't know. Ida Nosa? Seeing the straps of the sign of the surgeon being too strapped to afford a nanny.
Ido Teen Shun. Your father's about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy.
Why isn't that cute? Yes, the baby probably took the father's gun, ran over to the doctor, and shot him.
Even if I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. It's not. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was. That young lad in the black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniform cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out.
Testimonies are certainly compelling.
Yes!
Wait, that's nonsense. Victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all.
Please, nothing these outbursts already.
But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
You call yourself a liar, then you'll respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. Not here to listen to your fantasies. Evident beyond all reasonable doubt, the victim was alone at the time of the incident. Prosecutors have photographic evidence of this fact.
There's a photographic print of the scene of the crime, Counsel. Aha! Someone took out a piece of steak with a bullet in it.
Indeed, of the table the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there's only one place set.
Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. This doesn't make any sense. Well, add this new photographic evidence to the record. Carbonated water? Carbonated water? That's not carbonated water at all! Carbonate water in a bottle?
What's going on here?
Well, she wasn't eating anything, obviously.
It's not possible that no one else saw that woman. Unless she was a ghost.
The waiter before said the same thing. Maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well.
But that's not true. I saw her. I swear I saw that woman with him.
Scene will be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. Witness testimony we've just heard. Leave no further room for doubt. Judge.
These are very sensitive political times, we all know. Ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Takeuchi Ouchie, will have contributed to the anonymity of these two great empires is an honor. How can this be happening? Judge is already ready to rule.
Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet.
What?
If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. Now's your chance to expose it. Draw out the truth in your cross-examination.
I don't know, Kazuma.
Vince is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses. But make it quick, understood?
Tisk! Rules can be so unbending at times.
Most likely she is a very important woman to Great Britain. And that's why they don't want to admit anything. Hello, Flame. Hope you're having a good day. It's almost the same thing. It's not. Pointing the guns, the foreign man he was. That much I saw myself.
Yes! Yes, it may be true I was holding the gun at the point in time. But I told you already, this was because I picked it up off the floor. Well, obviously as the culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away. I had just finished drinking my coffee and was about to leave the restaurant when... I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. In exactly that moment, bang! A gunshot rang in my ears. Full of events beyond our control, life is. Sorry? What do you mean? In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas conversely, I failed to pick up the Coleman from the floor and find myself equally testing predicament as a result. Yeah, you're not in court for that, though. Anyway, fact remains. Myself, I did see you. With the pistol in hand, standing over the floor and Yes! You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there. Objection! As you have been at pains to point out time and time again, I feel I'm growing callous in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. Yeah, there have been more people dining there at the time. Someone else would have noticed her.
Unfortunately, that was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. Quiet time between lunch and dinner at any restaurant.
I know, of course the place was almost empty. That's what you'd expect.
Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of the time to eat. It's definitely not my usual eating time or anything. What if there's a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day and why he was alone?
Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. There was? This was found in the victim's jacket pocket.
What is that, Counsel?
It's a medical report card, Your Excellency. Tis ninja info card. See, the victim had appointment at the clinic prior to visiting the restaurant.
Not a clinic. Not there. Anywhere but there. There would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident.
So, the victim was late for lunch following his appointment. That explanation could not be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit its evidence before, as it really had no bearing on this case.
I wonder, what do you think, Ryunosuke?
Well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really.
Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful.
Did I ask for Dr. Wilson's medical report card to be submitted as evidence or not?
Yeah, of course.
Yes! If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency.
On what grounds?
Court's already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence will be extraneous. Not to mention the victim's movements prior to this arrival of the restaurant are no concern.
Objection!
Objection? Whether or not they're concerned is up to for us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues.
I beg your pardon.
You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. He's right, very well. Court will grant the defense's request.
Comes just these days of forever asserting their rights. It's almost a disturbing trend. Hope it doesn't carry on to like the 2000s or something.
Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record.
Okay, thanks.
What we need right now are new clues. I have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first.
Right, I hear you.
Can't try to prolong this trial as much as you like. The day after the festival are ready for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt.
They've already left room for doubt, you punk.
Feel free to reiterate for the accused.
Let's see.
Yes!
So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone?
That I did!
Forgive me for the position I place you in.
Testimony of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree at that point. Isn't that interesting? Let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As can clearly be seen, there's only a single beef steak on the victim's table. A meal for one.
No.
Antique dealer, the surgeon, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? Yep, someone could be guilty, and therefore that's good enough. Throw him in jail, burn him at the stake.
To be perfectly honest, I have no idea.
Therefore, no one other than black-haired
Uniform cadet could have dispatched the Englishman over and out. I don't see anything that sticks out too much. Let's see. The only thing I can really see that's different is... the flowers moved a little bit? Hard to tell from that angle, though. Can I flip this around and look at it? No? Okay. Yeah, the baby put the flowers on the table and put the gun in Ryusuke's hand.
Yes!
Why are you telling the truth?
What did you say, Cadet?
I clearly remember... there was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed, but for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible.
Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it's not just a case of these two witnesses alone.
Sorry?
The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said the victim was alone.
That's right. Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proprietor of this phantom lady. But such a woman were indeed present at the scene. The prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, prosecution demands no further mention of this phantom woman be made. Let it waste this court's time. Nothing I can say to that. Chish ha 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 ha.
Excellent work, Ryunosuke. We've gleaned some new information now.
Yeah, but I don't feel like it changes much. Can't see it brings any real discrepancies to light.
I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got from before.
Oh, you mean this? Even though it should be in the court record and not in my hands?
This is a brand new piece of evidence. I wish we could examine it in a little more detail.
How exactly? I tried, but it wouldn't let me magnify it.
You notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine.
But I couldn't examine that one.
Press A and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Use I can rotate things? To rotate the evidence in all things and examine it from all angles. By using blah 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 blah. Move the crosshairs to hunt for clues that may have been missed before.
Every nook and cranny of every piece of evidence.
The crosshairs start to pulsate. Press A to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail.
Alright, I'll see what I can do. Need to use A to inspect any areas of evidence that look suspicious. Aha!
Let's have a look. Seems like some kind of medical history. Ah, there's entry for the day of the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with the typical anesthesia.
Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out?
It would seem so. Just for the incident, he had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in Western for pain relief.
Yeah, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you from feeling pain.
It doesn't. It just makes you forget you felt it. Ah, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure. Yep. Until the anesthetic effects have passed.
Really?
Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. Medical report card information has been updated in the court record.
With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. You know, that one!
Think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you?
Definitely!
Well, that's unexpected.
What is?
Look, do you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga.
Well, yeah, business cards do tend to show the person's name.
Sort of the point. Not the name that's unexpected, it's his job title.
His job? Oh! Chief Inspector. Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What on earth?
I have no idea. But let's face it, police have a lot of power and influence. If they're wielding it somehow here. So he's not a waiter. He's a criminal investigator. Let's see, make sure.
Yes! Yes! Well, I think,
What are you wittering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer?
I wish I could, but I don't. But first and foremost here, I'm the accused.
Ryunsuke, everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. But also stop it.
Thanks, Kazuma.
I can see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out, when you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully. You knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking.
Alright, and thanks for the advice. Korakuda, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim.
Ah, I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy?
Pairing what is written on the report card with your witness statement. Oh, dang. Something clearly doesn't add up.
Dear me! Have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur?
Sorry, what?
No, not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel.
But...
Let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon the victim was murdered in the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant.
But that's,
Remember, Yusuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here.
it was Mia, not Maya. I don't think he'd be a Maya. He's... well, to put it simply, he's a little too competent. And, you know, is, like, clearly the more experienced of the two. Just like Mia was. Whereas Maya is, like, your partner. She's the more like Ryunsuke, really.
I think we're finished, yes? Don't need to prolong this trial further. Witness testimonies in the court have been clear and concise. Medical report card no bearing on the matter at all. For a simple reason that there's no one else besides this pale-faced pupil who could possibly have perpetrated the crime.
He slammed down. He slammed down for real. And for what? Medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that?
What? Now, but half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant?
Perhaps because the Hada Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic.
A dental clinic? That's supposed to mean something to me? I don't have teeth.
As if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted.
What's this now?
And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating.
Just what are you trying to say, cadet? He had orders not to eat? So what?
It's all written up here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off.
What? No, that can't...
Korakuda,
What, boy? What?
as you just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all.
No.
Additionally, there's more? You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. This is also a big benefit of going from these, like, somewhat 3D animations from the 2D ones that Phoenix Wright had. Like, him having those little gentle slaps and going to these big slaps is so satisfying. I'm just surprised it already happened in this case alone. But that can't possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we know, had just one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of anesthetic. Or whatever you call it. I don't know how to pronounce things. Excellently done, partner. Oh, look at the little baby bow.
Objection! Objection? What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are basic accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. Every time I do it makes me laugh.
See the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
How long's it been since I made that joke?
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic?
How dare you!
I think it's fair to say the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunsuke?
Yeah. Huh? Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Perjury does not, doesn't exist in this universe. Not in that country. So having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating in the pictured beef steak? But we'll hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel?
Oh, counsel? Oh, that's me, doesn't it?
Alright, the answer to the question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of your turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of.
Yeah, I got it. I'm made of nerves. Person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been me. Obviously, it can only been someone else who's sitting at the professor's table. Objection! You not let this go, will you? There was no such person. Yes, there was. There was. Because I saw her.
When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is there was someone else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear these witness testimonies are unreliable and stupid. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial, relentlessly.
Kazuma, are you insane? You would take on the government?
I'll take on the world for my friend. Don't worry, counsel, I have no issue with you, other than your stupid hair.
What do you mean?
I have an issue with them, those two witnesses in the staff.
What? What are you talking about?
We've demonstrated the evidence with the victim was not alone. So, if it turns out the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. I lied to you, Flame. It does exist in this country. I was just leading you on a false report. Oh wait, does that mean I'm gonna be charged? Dang. Just cut that from the record. I didn't say that.
Perjury?
And, since it's a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing.
Complicit in murder? No! Negative. There was no mention of this in the tactical meeting. I was just following orders. That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they told us. Oh. Oh. What? What did you just say, Kuda? No, I didn't. You were just following orders. Now hold on, lad. I was,
So you never saw the gentlewoman? When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with the lady from overseas?
What? Objection! Objection! What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements?
Yes, Ouchie, they often lie.
Is this true, you pair?
I feel a little better knowing that he didn't know, but...
Just one simple slip of the tongue.
Order! Order of the court, counsel. Explain what's going on here. Painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth.
Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. No, they. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut?
Well, that's classified something on my stash.
So prepared to be tried as a conspirator in this murder, are you?
You wouldn't. This can't be happening.
Ryunosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Ouchie had any idea about it.
What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, only a handful of possibilities. It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose.
Well, any ideas who might be behind all this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, we can continue our pursuit.
Need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut.
Of course, we'll need evidence before we make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever really did this did wield his or her power here.
But how? How can we possibly...
Remember how we made progress before?
Before?
We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? You already examined it. We need to re-examine everything. Make sure nothing we've missed. I want answers, and I want them now. When witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe.
Please wait. Your Excellency, I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. Every single one. I knew nothing.
What does the defense have to say about all this,
Well, Your Excellency. No time to think. I'm gonna have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes to my head. Deep breath. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is... Yes! Well, surely that would be... Satoru Hozunaga.
Hozunaga? The waiter who took the stand earlier?
Objection! Poppycock! What possible reason would a waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence.
A head waiter also does not have a business card. I don't know how they didn't think about that one earlier. For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter.
What? If he truly were...
Come on, Ryunosuke. Time to hit this court with the truth. Truth about Satoru Hozunaga's real identity.
Yes!
The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question. I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure what include anything.
Sorry, Your Excellency, that's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest.
I beg your pardon, what?
Or, perhaps I should have said the front? Turn the card around. It's the front of the back of the card. That's what we're telling the detail is.
Would someone please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hozunaga sets the plan in the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man's question's profession. His true profession of question. The waiter's profession, but that's surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. Todd reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau.
What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? Does no one ever tell me anything? Am I gonna be the joke in every game?
The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power, absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there on the stand... Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it not he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman on the scene? Hold it! I'm here now.
Inspector Hozunaga. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. Let's flash back to 15 minutes ago. Oh, well. And the plan to the court officer at once. I don't like his Dracula theme.
Yeah, I remember now. If we flash back to it, he'd act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card.
I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. Does this remind you of anyone? But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake.
So you mean to say you really are a detective? Why would a detective be working at a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course, your salary must be terrible.
I was working undercover, actually. I get more than you could possibly imagine, boy. Look at my tie.
Undercover?
Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. Like, I don't know, someone stealing stuff. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter working undercover. And surely no one would recognize my organ theme. Incidents at this restaurant? What kind of incidents? That is of no concern of yours. Declassified police information, which I'm not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to the case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you'll elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We just heard information of the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that's indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner, therefore I'm led to assume that your professional capacity as a police officer, you require these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct? Well, correct, Your Excellency.
Unbelievable! As I suspected. Bang!
Bang, bang! As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite of the victim at the same table was a young lady, whom I guessed would be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the bureau. It was then I received some special orders.
Special orders? You mean to say...
Remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders.
But what if this Englishwoman was the killer?
I think it would be everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. But someone has to be guilty. The Empire views the friendly terms of relation with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect, well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question.
So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right!
Right? It's not Phoenix, right? One possibility does spring to mind.
Eh? What do you mean, Kazuma?
Yume University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain. I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young Englishwoman.
What?
You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour.
You mean...
When I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought that it prudent to check her identity at first. And the court demands the name of the lady in question at once, Inspector. I refuse. Well, nothing we can do. The English woman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Jezziel Brett. She is indeed a foreign student studying at the research laboratory in Yume University's medical faculty. You're going to say facility, but that's not the word.
I didn't get to see what he said!
I admit from orders under the police, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene, except for his stake. And ordered these witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to your excellency to decide how to deal with this situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we've now discovered, that premise is false. It would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point.
Objection! But Your Excellency, I would be missing the noon deadline of the ruling in order set by the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be displeased by such actions.
Calm yourself, Counsel. Not allow the government of our country or any other influence to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. And that's why the judges are the best. Even if they're often very dumb. Inspector Hosenau. Yes, sir. You will locate this Jezziel and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. This darn Brett, who is probably a brat. At once, Your Excellency.
But that means you're going to get special orders you were given from the police!
And, as I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. They mentioned that when he showed up the first time, and Ryunosuke was like, "Are you okay? Like, do you need something?" I was like, "Oh yeah, don't worry. This happens often. Happens all the time, don't worry." Yeah, you missed the very beginning, where he showed up.
No, it won't be a problem?
Well, it will be a problem, but nothing will get in my way. Well, I'm sorry, Mimikyu. Court will adjourn briefly. Prosecution must call the English student, Jezziel Brett, to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor. Your Excellency!
Good. I'll have a 30-minute recess for the reconvening. To be continued. Well, interesting that the first tutorial case also has you going on a to be continued thing. Oh, that's my autosave. I was like, I haven't saved yet. How is there already a save? Alright, that said, I'm going to be right back. I need water because doing stupid voices hurts my throat. And I have the feeling I'm going to be doing even stupider voices as time goes on. Hope you'll enjoy my stupid voices, even if like 3 of them sound exactly the same. At least to me. It's hard to tell what comes out of my mouth or not, so, you know. Anyways, be right back.
I'm back. Hope you're all having a good day. We need to solve this case. I also don't really know why the bailiff cloned himself still. Like, when we first started this thing, he was definitely alone. Also, I'm sorry I left you with no music. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. It's almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking. And you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it, it's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't want to ever see the inside of a courtroom again. Ah, dang it. We're only on chapter 1. You've still got, like, 90 hours of gameplay to go. Anyways, looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Jezail Brett. I don't actually know how to say that, but student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was telling everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? Might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are the one thing I'm sure of. Yes, I can see that. I can observe that. So about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened after that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself, then on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun laying on the floor. And just after I bent down and picked it up, kaboom! I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. Waiter ran over to me looking as white as a sheet. And he bundled me into some small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yeah, because I was shut in the pantry, and I have no idea what happened outside the dining area.
There you are. Well done, both of you. It's me.
Professor Mikotoba.
Well, seems I was right. Pair of you make an outstanding team. Exceeded my expectations.
Yes, he picked up the gun and then heard the shot, which means that gun is not the one that shot the doctor. There is a second gun somewhere. Which means the stupid bullet fingerprints are gonna come up again, probably. If that even exists in this timeline. Oh, I just noticed in the background. I think those are all the old court judges. And they all look the same.
Pair of you make an outstanding team. Exceed my expectations, I have to say.
Yeah, seems you planned this from the start. It's not the baby. The baby didn't shoot him. He's not tall enough. I wouldn't be too surprised if the baby, like, threw something and it hit the lady and she accidentally shot him. But, you know. You arranged things so I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial.
Our modern country's still in its infancy. Our justice system even more so.
Parrot nearby that sound just looked like a gun.
Caw! It was me! I shot the guy! I'm the killer! Caw!
The ballistic markings are the fingerprints of the gun.
Yes, which is why I firmly believe we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can.
And you chose me?
I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour in Great Britain being cancelled.
Yeah, but sadly that is an inconsistency in itself, so if she does use the baby as an excuse, we can tell from the markings that it is a point-blank shot.
I don't think fingerprint tech exists either, because they're using black and white photographs still. Well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life. Hey, I mean, I still got a lot of life left. Let's not go with the worst yet. I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What? What are you saying, Kazuma?
Well, that's your stance. Afraid you'd feel that way.
Kazuma?
Well then. Looks like it all comes down to you, young man.
To me?
Yes, you need to prove your innocence. And if you don't, your best friend will suffer forever knowing he can never be what he wanted to be. So, you know, do your best, no pressure. Uncover what really took place at that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case.
Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier in this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim?
Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at UMaine. You may know them, and it was I who invited him.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that before.
Anyway, you're about to go into battle. Victim is a University professor of Great Britain, a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government's looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible.
Well, let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement in our police went to extraordinary lengths to hide.
Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to squash your case. I've no doubt your pair will put up a good fight, right to the last. Best of luck!
Thank you. Are you not going to help anything?
Now then, I better get going. Need you to run an errand at the university at once. Something I think we may need.
Okay. I'll get our Deus Ex Machina. Good luck, Kazuma. Defendant Naruto! Court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Go in there and deal a decisive blow. Before those old fossils know what hits them. Kazuma, don't stab someone, please. What? Thank you. Really. What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed in me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really gonna give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. It isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. Alright then. You can treat me like one of those. You can treat me to those suyaki meals I like from the Yume cafeteria in university. With an extra large portion, of course. Yeah, darn it. Now even if I win, I'm gonna run out of money. Extra large means buy the entire restaurant. Court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunsuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Aochi, have you managed to subpoena the witness? What does that word mean? I can only assume what it means. But I can't say I've heard that one before.
Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government.
Yeah, sorry. Let the government screw-in-ties, that's their job. What the government does. Nothing to worry about.
Highly unlikely the good relation we forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. I still think there's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down on our nation founders.
Subpoena? I see. I'm terribly sorry. The friendship between our nations is really so fragile that the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. Ow. Really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke.
What do you mean?
A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, and a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. This is what our nation's justice system is. Is the Supreme Court of Japan or of England?
Shut up, you jumped up rookie boy. You and your friend know nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures.
I won't deny I'm no expert. I'm just a student. One who could arguably study harder, too. And stop looking around nervously. Standing here now, Supreme Court, there's one thing I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all.
Well said, Ryunosuke. Despite the wide-eyed look of terror.
You little brats.
Thank you, Counsel. Court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system, and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, the trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. Visiting student from the Great Britain, Miss Jezael Brett.
Yes.
Whoops. Essentially, yes. Also, hello, Gallic. Hope you're having a good day. I wasn't expecting her to have a giant hat. Why does she have a giant hat? Like, how did no one, like, instantly jump on? How could we not mention this giant hat to the courtroom? Someone would have noticed her leave. And you know, it may not have been a parrot that ended up doing this shooting, but it is a bird, OP. You called that one. So good job.
Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, from such a distant land.
Tea. Someone bring English tea. In England, no discussion take place without tea. I just thought it was some random bird.
Is that true?
No idea.
So, could he possibly trouble to state your name and the occupation to the court?
Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at the La Carnival, but my true...
Yes, we know about you already.
Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always the ladies first.
Is that true?
No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today you said something to me.
I did?
That your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. What kind of bird is that?
Oh yeah, I think I did, didn't I?
Yeah, your description of this amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Ryunosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking.
Guilty.
Well, game over, we're guilty.
So, dear lady, once again, let me trouble you for your name and occupation, please.
Oh, great. Oh, she doesn't speak Japanese. But we're all speaking English. So what does that mean? Yep.
Oh no, I can't hear her. She's speaking in cursive. I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but, what?
I see. The lady says her name is Jezael Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student currently enrolled in UMA University's medical faculty. Wait. If Kazuma's gonna study abroad, shouldn't he know how to speak English? I guess it's supposed to be English? Well, cursive's a crime, and it's honestly a pain sometimes, so...
Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. Sorry I almost said a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song.
As far as I can tell... The detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Okay, so you can speak it.
Yeah, I agree. You obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it?
Nor you. You clearly have been paying attention in your English classes, Ryunosuke. A shame you weren't able to translate for the player. Court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett.
I don't understand a word you're saying.
3 days ago, at a restaurant called La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? It's a fun detail to include, but we're playing as someone who understands it. So it's a little weird. It's like, I wish it was at least, like, somewhat readable, but it's clearly just a bunch of scribbles. She says yes.
This could take some time.
But even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese.
I could speak Japanese if you could read my cursive language and whatnot.
Yeah, I was thinking that they could have just changed it to Japanese and make this, you know, the complete flip. Let's see. No. Well, I don't want to do that. That's boring. Nope, I don't have a way to change it from here. I don't think. Well, yeah, that's what people in Britain sound like, right? She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. That she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting. So you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the police.
Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind to cast your eyes over this photographic print of a dead man? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be your resplendent eyes caught sight of this wicked perpetrator, perhaps? It was obviously that boy over there. I'm innocent, as is my bird.
Apparently it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say? Yes, it would appear that the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood.
His blood was hot, though. I mean, it was warm that day.
Order of the court.
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Absolutely conclusive witness statement.
Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. He did not eat the steak. You missed that part, but he had just gotten a tooth removed and was ordered to not eat for 3 hours. So he did not touch that steak. Even if it was poisoned, it wasn't him getting poisoned. Unfortunately, I have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Okay. I don't touch her. I don't trust her hat or her hair. This is gonna take forever, isn't it? Can we just skip to him saying anything? Okay. I'd arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. Professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. Blah 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 blah. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. Now, she did not say any of that. Gallic is the one that said the steak was poisoned. So far, the only thing up with the steak is that she's the one that ordered it and is the one that ate it. She took a bite out of the steak and out of crime. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. This is a condemning testimony in— No, I didn't have anything to argue with the professor at all. Objection! How many— Quiet, you filthy wretch! Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard. Look at this snow-white angel. Sure, even a dark-minded scouter like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe. You're still making the same mistakes, Ryunosuke. Mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's the lesson you need to learn. But she's so annoying. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the 2 witnesses who testified before and reported back to the police. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. Testimonies of the 2 witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, yeah, they were. Even so, on the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit she is today. As you can see, there's nowhere about a person where she could conceal a firearm. There's like 20 places she could conceal one. Her hair, below her stupid hat, inside the bird. It could probably cough up a gun. It can cough up fashion, so it can clearly cough up a gun. I think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to. Unless and until the precise location where this witness is heading the weapon can be shown, this is moot. There are no pockets in my outfit, and I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. That's ridiculous. If only allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it. Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. It's obviously her hat. I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun there that day. You're right about that, which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we need to pull her testimony apart. Somehow. Permit me now cross-examine the witness. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. Ready to meet you with a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. Why? After 2 p.m. in fact. This is really quite a late lunch, isn't it? Objection! Shut up! You don't keep up with the latest fashion forbidden, do you? Late luncheons are in vogue, is that right? I have no idea what that means. No. Ah! Decisive English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. It was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment in the clinic first. Yeah, which you can prove from the medical report that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. Yeah, it all makes perfect sense.
Such a wonderful logic. What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is.
So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? You know, I bet this is gonna matter at some point. That he's, Imperial 000901. I bet that's gonna come up in at least one court case.
Ah, symbol of UMason University. Every student wears this pin with pride. It's funny, but most emblems seem to be either round or rectangular. I like the spike design, even though it doesn't really make any sense. Although it does cause problems, lots of students end up cutting their fingers on the badges. Perhaps it was the idea of one of the founders. A sharp pin for a sharp mind or something?
Single bullet fired at close range, fatal hemorrhage, or ballistic trauma, no exit wound, bullet did not pass through the body. Okay, the bullet not passing through the body would mean something. It does mean that he changed seats with her at some point, because why would the stake be on his side of the table?
Yes!
He was not stabbed, he was shot.
He was unable to eat, you say? That was because he just had a tooth removed at the Hana Clinic, correct?
That's right.
You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering.
Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She'd heard the professor was to have some dental treatment.
So that would mean... that was you who ate the steak pictured here? Is that right, Miss Brett?
That's right, yes. Print you have there shows the table exactly as it left after the horrifying events.
Exactly as it was left? Dear me, what a harrowing experience. I've traveled to a distant land to the far side of the world to be embroiled in such a tragic incident. As tragic as it is to hear my voice. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I've crushed the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight.
So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all. That's right, other than some carbonated water.
Just water?
Yes, carbonated water, in fact. Professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. Here's the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each.
They each raised a glass of carbonated water.
What do you think, Ryusuke, about the witness's last statement? Well, there's only one glass, so, you know, that's... No, the thing did say he was allowed to have water. Just no eating.
That statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case. Well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing?
The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness' last statement to be formally added to the testimony.
Well, sidestep, counsel.
Very well, Miss Brett, kindly repeat what you just said to add to your official testimony. Gladly, she said.
I didn't say a dang thing. That was brilliant, Cosma. I'm gonna remember that one.
Which one?
The significance to be compared when the time is right. I could really use that phrase.
I hope there's some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryusuke.
Yes! Because he's a samurai of justice. Both you and the professor drank this carbonated water, did you?
Yes. Being the waiter, I poured 2 glasses myself. I clearly remember doing so.
Except you're actually a detective.
And the beef steak, that was for you, Miss Brett.
Uh-huh.
Lady says she'd heard it was not customary to eat beef until Japan opened its doors to the world.
Yeah, that's true.
What a frightful place, is the lady's opinion.
And I've heard it's not customary to eat sashimi in Great Britain. Now that's frightful.
Every country has its own cuisine. As long as people have food to eat, what does it matter what it is?
True, come to think of it, first time I tried carbonated water, it was much more of a shock than the first time I tried beef. Anyway, back to this witness statement. Somehow, I feel like there's something out of place in what she's saying.
Sorry, someone needed to give me something. Need to pounce on even the slightest thing now, 'cause you never know what might lead us to our goal. Our goal of turning this trial around.
And the table.
Was it a steak? No. It was a mistake.
Yes! That's it! Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left.
Uh-huh. That is correct, the lady says.
Yeah, well, that is, it's odd, very odd. Dear me, what's odd is the defense's inability to express itself.
Runescape, what's about the print that looks odd to you?
Well, obviously, it's the cheers.
The cheers?
Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor had cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1.
You're quite right, Counsel. It's only 1 glass in picture.
Objection! Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minuscule, what it was? Possible differences, presence or absence of a glass shape of the case.
Objection. Minutue, you say? Could it be the detective here has removed the glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless.
Yeah, there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you gonna try to tell me you can clink with only 1?
You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table.
What?
It was all so terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I'd hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she's saying. Good gracious! Sorry.
I assured the court for there's no consequence of all. Oh, please. Let's remember this student had just been murdered, this lady's luncheon companion, before our very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or 2 in a state of disarray? The guards. That's absurd. Oh, really? Take it you're now gonna accuse this vulnerable young and beautiful woman of mischief? What? Oh, no, this can't be put down to mischief.
I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene.
Well, I put it in my pocket of— oh, wait,
It seemed that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying.
Lady, you just said—
Whatever.
handbag, you say?
Yes, Your Excellency, a small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So the beautiful lady has graciously explained how and why she removed a glass and had a gun from the scene now. However, the fact remains this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. Stu's been trying to confuse our court with logical reasoning, but in the end it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You've wasted enough time already. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, I don't know, really. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show what it has some deeper significance. Yeah, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. The deeper significance there, it's the handbag. Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say? Yes! Do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that the English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag. In which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun.
You're right!
Well done, partner. I have a feeling you'd pick up on that, too. You could have just said something, Kazuma.
What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard?
It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up a gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce that there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will.
You can't seriously be suggesting... Inspector Hazanaga,
Yes?
did you or did you not search Miss Jezebel Brett's handbag on the murder, Jezebel?
No, sir, I did not.
As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's bag.
No! Kinda sad the guys on the side aren't, like, looking back and forth.
Order of the court. What is the meaning of this, Inspector?
The meaning of what, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bundling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations.
Brilliant work, partner. Now I have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask.
You think so, Kazuma?
Jeez, he coughed so hard my controller vibrated. Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. No, we don't. You just hid a woman from testifying in court. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting. Simply because it was unnecessary.
Unnecessary in what way?
I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. This print is of a photograph I thought it would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. I don't think handbags are transparent or open like that. Clearly see, it shows Miss Brett's handbag.
Well, I never!
Also, we don't know why he coughs up blood. It's just a thing he does.
You can see right through to what's inside.
That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment because they have no idea what bags are for. The contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there's no need to search the lady's handbag.
That's like the subtext of this entire franchise, Riesling. It's like, would you please stop hiding evidence?
But if they didn't, then we wouldn't have a game. Been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious.
Yeah.
As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping prove that, Naruhodo-san.
Ow! I've been hit! I've been shot!
Order in the court. Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit the print as evidence at once. Alright. Certainly, Your Excellency. Photograph of the handbag has been added into the court record. Alright, time to inspect that. Think you have it long enough to cross-examine the witness, counsel. Court has now been shown considerable evidence. 1 second. What is that? He's like a weird... I guess it's a bull? She has a flower on her handbag. And a chain that goes down. Yeah, it's a weird bull tattoo, or it's a blood stain, but it's too perfectly shaped to be blood. As the photographic print just submitted to the court record appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter. And I must make my ruling.
Indeed, there's only one logical conclusion. Pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. No, just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around. I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Kazuma?
I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue.
What? You mean this is it? I must say you put up quite a fight for a rookie student. But the weak are meat, while the strong eat. You're wasting your time. There's no way to be true justice. In fact, you can chew onto your heart's content from the inside of your cell. Can't be happening. I'm really gonna be found guilty of a crime I didn't commit? And Kazuma, dream of going to study Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma.
What?
There really no chance now of turning this trial around?
You heard the judge. Nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest. Which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Very well, now proceed immediately to the ruling.
Seems we had to report to the British government on time after all.
That smug little... Ryunosuke Naruto, having considered all of the evidence placed before me, I hereby find you not guilty. Wait, what?
Boom. Wait, Your Excellency.
Ryunosuke.
I don't think you can rule on this case yet.
Objection!
Objection! This amateur is getting tedious. When exactly demeans the trial's over, he gives his ruling. The basic protocol of the courtroom. Your Excellency,
When did I get a glove?
just a moment ago you said this. As the photograph print submitted appears to have no further significance, there's no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now that means if there was a problem with the evidence, significant detail I mean, then ruling on the case this time would be out of the question.
Objection!
That's blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. Every time I do it makes me cringe. All it shows is the handbag of the gentlewoman who was carrying the day in question. No problem with this evidence.
You better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke. I understand your objections, counsel. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone court scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag.
Ha! My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution's becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes. Yeah, I am desperate. This isn't a wheeze. Something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. I want to put my finger on it.
Very well, grant the defense one final opportunity.
What?
Be warned, if I'm unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, Your Excellency.
So, take another look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. That Hosonaga submitted before. You identify the court where in this print we see the significant detail which you have alluded. Well, I guess it would be his hand, but let's see. I want to check the other picture. It's funny that it moves. I'd also say that, you know, you can't see any food that should be right behind him, but I'm gonna switch for. I'm just gonna.
Yes! Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist.
That is true. Looks almost like a burn of some description.
Objection! Objection! Dear me, I was pondering what new trifle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? Clearly has nothing to do with the magnificent lady's handbag.
Yes, that is a burn mark. You're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed when he was performing the post-mortem examination. He deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report. Very unprofessional.
What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? No possible way of knowing, either.
The more I look at it, the more I find intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, Prosecutor Ouchie points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn.
What in the world are they talking about?
Excuse me, Your Excellency. Meaning that Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now.
Oh, of course, dear lady. We shouldn't hold you up any longer. Quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway.
What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Believe this burn has something to do with the case?
To be honest, I'm not really sure, but if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. I was thinking I should keep digging and digging. Diggy hole. Hope that I might uncover something useful.
Yes, you're right.
I am?
Just think of that burn to the case. And if we do that, we might be able to prise the shutting door back open again.
Well, just give up, counsel. Can't possibly hope to do that.
Indeed. Afraid without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. But if we had evidence that irrefutably linked the burn of the victim's wrist to the case, then you would allow it? I would, yes. Tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. As soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face.
Really? She's kind of already like super pale white, so find some link between the burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. To find some evidence that proves what the burn really means.
Pencil now presents evidence to the court. Evidence that demonstrates an inextricable connection between the victim's burn and this trial. Wait a second, what did he say about this stupid thing?
Every student wears this pin with pride. Either round or rectangular.
I don't know, what do you think? Trying to think of what thing looks like that. I guess it would just be the... Yeah, there's a thing on the stake. That's in that shape, which means he burned his hand when he got here. I did notice that symbol earlier, but I forgot. No, the dentist did not burn him. What would he be doing at his wrist? Sneaky stake. I didn't notice it was in the shape of a little bull like that. I just noticed there was a gold mark on that side earlier. So... Yes! Yes! What's this, Council? Yet another print? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe the photographic prints are an amazing invention. We should definitely use them every time we want to laugh. When we humans look at the scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore, until the photograph is, destroyed. Well, hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further would be quite inexcusable. Would you please stop flirting? She's never looked at you, and she never will. Actually, maybe you stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. See, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have the unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How? Objection! Objection! You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. That's your game. Let's see how this plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What exactly in this photograph explains the reason for the victim's burn? Yes! The beefsteak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Your Excellency, are you alright? As you can see, there's an emblem on that plate, and also that steak is way more... that's more of that steak missing than I thought there was. It looked like it was a pretty whole steak, otherwise. I guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival. The emblem on the plate and the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Ryunsuke, you're genius! You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. Objection! Objection? But even if that's the case, can't know what happened on the day in question or not. Could have been the day before, or the day before that. Likely happened at some other unrelated time. Well,
Objection!
Objection. Sadly, Prosecutor Ouchie, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? Outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious energy would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But... I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago, and although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. Inconceivable the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. How did you become head waiter in 3 weeks?
Fuck you! You're a detective, not a waiter!
Why are you... Kazuma, why are you pointing right now?
There you have it, something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 seconds would scream in pain. No question of that.
And yet Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream, not on that day or any before.
That's right, and the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either.
What are you suggesting?
Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day...
That would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel.
Yeah, whatever. And the rest of his restaurants, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer... And you know, all of us, without any question, would have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Ouchie?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, whatever.
So the question is... Why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream?
I almost don't believe it. RuneScape, do you think...
Can it really be true? Never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but... Starting to think that maybe... We've been led into a terrible trap!
Music stopped, so I wasn't sure what to do with that.
Only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson...
Was asleep or already deceased? Yeah, I think you're right. I think he was probably asleep, and his wrist fell down onto the plate, and where it sat there, and she took the cup from him, not from her, side of the table, and then they switched places. He did, but, you know. I think even with that kind of thing, you would already notice that, wouldn't you? Yeah, it just numbs your mouth. It doesn't numb everything. I'm torn between these two answers. Because the thing is that if he was already dead... Complicated. What are we gonna do? Time to just talk about this for a second. I can't actually cancel it either. Although it was carbonated water, I don't know if that would make any difference. But yeah, I would assume he was asleep, not already dead. Because you don't hear the gunshot, and that's what killed him. Yes, the professor, with his tendency to nod off, was asleep when his hand fell to the piping hot plate. Didn't even notice the burn happening. Didn't even know the professor, and yet here you are labeling as a dim-witted dozer. Huh? How about I hold your wrist on a hot plate and see if you can sleep through it? Perhaps it's the scream you let out will wake you up a bit. Well, it's nice that there's a frankness developing between us, partner. Don't call me partner after coming up with nonsense like that. Critical moment. May very well be our only chance to turn things in our favor. Oh, come on, Ryunosuke, you can do it. Or rather, you have to do it. You're the only one who can. Only one explanation I can think of. It's not the one there he's put to sleep. Dr. Wilson is already dead. No man can remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds, even if he was drugged, apparently. That's clearly impossible. Apart from one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Uh-huh. Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead. Already dead? Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. That's madness! Order in the court, please. Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot. That's right, you're absolutely right, Your Excellency. It's just another ridiculous ploy by a rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts. No, Prosecutor Algie, it's you who has no grasp of the facts. I beg your pardon. As soon as it became apparent the victim had suffered a burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. I think the waiter is innocent. I think he is actually just doing his job. I don't think he actually knows what happened. He just came out after he heard the gunshot, saw Ryunosuke with the gun, and was like, alright, well this guy needs to be put up, and then was told to let the lady go. Certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. That animation has some issues. Sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you'll have to forget your luncheon engagement. But Your Excellency! Justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I'm prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. Well, I never. She gonna speak perfect Japanese? What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. That also sells that he has no idea who this lady is. He's like, whoa, why have I been translating for you? Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours. Ah, Miss Brett, you speak Japanese? Of course I do. Well, of course I do. I'm studying your country after all. Why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world, it's not. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. Well, that's just rude. Seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalry's virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see I'll have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level. Oh, well, You're the epitome of a truly English gentlewoman. Rude. Truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously offer us. I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I'll now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. Okay, guess this guy can leave then. Finally get to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunsuke. Too interesting. I'd find her guilty of being suspicious. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burned his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, Preston and I had raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyways. Most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in Supreme Court history. Thank you. No, it won't. There was nothing captivating or beautiful about it. Easy does it. Hope that's the last time I have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. Do hope I haven't insulted anyone. Not at all, not at all. It's delightful to hear you speak, dear lady. Seems very clear from your testimony this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I was speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what's happened here today. The Minister of Justice? May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. Thanks? Is that a prayer then? You have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with the cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed this little bully of a student, as you put it. Doesn't miss much. Yep. Waiting for them to bring in the cup and be like, oh yeah, it's got traces of poison in it. Trying to remind you, counsel, this will be your final cross-examination of this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. That clear? Yeah, I guess. Oh, okay. Yep. Yes, Your Excellency. You may proceed with the cross-examination. Yes! Hands on a searing hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You can't not have noticed. Do you think so? Let me ask you something. Sorry? Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, flying those unsightly black trousers of yours have been wide open. You cannot have noticed, can you? Huh? What? Ah! Haha! You hadn't realized. Dear lady is absolutely right! As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well as yourself in this case. Why didn't you tell me? Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. Sorry, I can't get over that her nose just clipped through her mask for a second. He chose honorable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing? Oh yes, I think my tiny brain can. I can't. Anyway. Also, there's literally no way you could have seen that because he's behind a desk. Whether it was true or not, you would not have seen anything below his waist. But whatever. Yes! Yes, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from a ballistic trauma. Yes. Luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. There were no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate some other cause of death. Only been the bullet from your gun that put an end to an innocent man's life. Doesn't make sense. The burn must have happened straight away, when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter. Yes, that's true. But it cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to burn like that. And the victim burned his wrist on a hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen.
Then he must have already been dead at that point. And yet, the fact that the victim was killed by a gunshot in the chest. Shows that court evidence to disprove that. This is a complete waste of time.
I concur. Prosecutor Ouchie is right.
Ugh.
There's plenty of ways for that, but...
Without leaving a trace. If someone's shot or strangled or stabbed or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there's always telltale traces on the body. Quite right, dear lady. As our police forces thoroughly examine the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Is that right, Inspector Hosonaga?
As I've said, I always aim for flawless investigation.
There'd be physical traces with all those causes of death, that's true. Maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're gonna have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it? Oh, perish the thought, calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question. On my honor, I, Takasuchi Ouchi, will cut down anyone who dares cast such aspirations. Way of killing someone that leaves no trace. I'm ignoring Ouchi entirely now.
Need some evidence to back us up here.
Yeah, evidence. Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of Great British Empire, the police store everything found at the crime scene for later examination. Which we should have done if someone didn't get the orders to not do that. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Quite right. La Carnival's open for business as usual today, just after the days after the incident. Exactly, which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost.
How do I look at him?
Nothing occurred to your naive detectives trying to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can. You understand? Killer blow! The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful.
She's not even pretty, though. She's got a giant duck on her head.
Amazing! It's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchie is finally starting to see sense.
I very much doubt that.
Still, something about what Miss Brett just said. A moment before, when something didn't seem quite right.
What do you think, Ryusuke?
I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, not turning up any new information.
Yes, as I suspected. She's a tough witness, because you're not asking the right thing. You need to find a break in her testimony, or cross-examination will be over.
Must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. Kazuma.
What, Ryusuke?
There is one thing I noticed, something that's been bothering me.
Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett?
Actually, no. About the person standing next to her, Inspector Hosonaga.
The detective?
Yeah, he seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. Wondering if it might be significant. If I might present an opening, maybe.
Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time.
If you think so, but
this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective.
Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. Like this is still a tutorial. Find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again. Yes! Quite right. That carnival's open for business.
Wait.
How do I go over to him?
Yes, there it is again. Detective's reaction just the same as before. Why?
Up until now, the detective's been standing the Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity.
What do you mean?
When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they very often let their guard down.
You're right, look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts.
It's time to pursue the man and his train of thought.
Sorry? Pursue?
I'll explain how to do it now, Ryusuke. Just press L. All to do with the witness marker.
What marker?
At the moment, we'll focus on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. But by moving the marker left and right with blah blah, you can turn your attention to the people in the stand. While you're looking for other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with A. Catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people in the stand, take a good look around.
Alright then, first I can move the marker across left and right, focus on the detective. Then pursue him with A, see what's going on his mind. Here we go.
Wait.
There we go. It wasn't working for some reason.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Ah! What's the meaning of this?
Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts. Deeply.
Looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say.
If there's something you'd like to say, please, share it with the court. Objection! Objection? What's the meaning of this? The delightful English woman who's testifying at the moment. Can't find fault in her testimony, then cross-examination be over, immediately. Oh, is that how it works?
Absolutely not.
Huh?
Detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness.
Yeah, not to mention he's immediately involved in the case.
Inspector Hosonaga.
Yeah, what's up?
I mean, sorry, what's up? I have something to add, in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett. Wipe that off. Well, yes, if you don't mind, I would like to speak. Intimately, immediately, whatever. I can read. The lady is right, our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain, which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always try to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless.
What do you mean by that?
I'll tell you what I mean, I don't have any evidence lacking on my watch. Not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of a crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief, I'm not ashamed of what I've done.
A crime scene thief?
Well, looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example.
Is that...
It's the bottle of carbonated water I took at the victim's table that day in question. And yes, it's lost all its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, there's some left in the bottle. I can see it.
Today our police force will be among the best in the world. Time is coming, I guarantee it. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. Or will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. Okay. Miss Brett. Can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank the day of the victim's death?
Yes, it was that bottle.
What was that about? It seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well, counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. Hector will kindly control his fervor. I don't know. It definitely seems like it's supposed to be wine, but I can't imagine that they would do that, you know?
find anything out of place. Label's written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. You know what it says, Kazuma?
I think it says it's French. Must be very expensive water.
Yeah, but what does it say? That's what I was asking.
Then go to France and ask.
You could just say that
You don't know.
carbonated water's the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had.
Looks like there's a little left in the bottle. Although it's just plain water now.
You know, I've been sweating so much. Absolutely parched. I'll just have a sip of this to keep it going.
No, Ryunosuke, you can't do that. For one thing, it's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence.
Oh, no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we?
You never cease to amaze me, Ryunosuke. More ways than one.
I wonder, could there be anything in this water?
What's gone? What's the matter? You've been quiet all of a sudden.
I think I might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility.
Does anyone speak French? Do you know what that says? Honestly, even if you spoke French, that's just a bunch of scribbles. I don't think you can make that out.
Yes!
What's this? The bottle of water?
Actually, there's one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison.
Poison?
On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass?
Order! Order in the court!
And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink, there's only one person who could have possibly done it. Jeziel Brett, it was you!
Objection!
Objection! This is outrageous. Such a thing without a scrap of evidence. You rookie imbecile, you are considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now. Forgotten we have only just signed the Accord of Friendship with the British Empire? Maybe the vaguest inkling what your rash accusations should jeopardize this entire treaty?
Honestly not much. An English person killing an English person wouldn't really mean much to them.
Objection!
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine the one individual's guilt with respect to one crime. What? The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth.
Ahem, if I may. I will silence you forever, this disgraceful attack on the liberty.
Shh, oh, she got her own thing.
Shut up. It is you who should be silent.
Of course.
Dear lady. Where'd that come from? She just snapped. Afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I may offer my humble apologies.
Sorry, my lady, what are you referring to?
I described your police force as inferior, but no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not.
Of course.
You did?
Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time.
I don't believe it.
Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents.
And?
What did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. But did you check the cup she stole? Which is probably going to come through the courtroom door in 5, 4, 3, 2... What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. I wonder if we'll get to meet him. Probably not.
Very grateful to all you Japanese. You successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. But of course, dear lady, pleasure was all ours. I was so sure
This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, counsel. I think the cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, the shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death, even though it was not that gun. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. Court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this caused you, Miss Brett. Oh no, I'm just glad the matter's resolved. Proceeding, I must have the counsel for defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point? Kazuma? I'm sorry, Runescape. I have nothing more. Well, if you excuse me now, I really must be leaving. 5, 4, 3... Yep. Hold it! I'm here now. Ready to slap a jerk. Please wait. Isn't that... What is the meaning of this? Forgive me for intruding on these proceedings, Your Excellency. Sasato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant of the Defense. Mikotoba? In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. To be continued. Again. Well. And I'm afraid it's gonna be a true cliffhanger. Because I am going to have to call it there. I was kind of hoping that would just be the ending, but... like, apparently not. Oh, we already passed noon, too. But yeah, I'm afraid I have to go get some food and stuff, and my throat is killing me. So... I hope you all enjoyed the Ace Attorney adventure being returned. And we will continue it later. And figure out who was the real killer. Do you think it was the waiter? Well, either way, you're just gonna have to be the waiter for the answer. But, you know, it's also pretty clear what the answer is, so. That's what most of the cases and old Ace Attorney things. So, is it the steak? No, I know, you think it's the baby. Probably Blue Attorney. You can't really... There's no magic in law. Just terror. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed my bad voice acting. And... all the nonsense that these games produce. I will see you later. Have a good night, and boy for now. No, the judge is a good guy. Don't judge the judge to be guilty. He's a good guy. Anyways, boy for now. It would be a neat twist to have the judge as a criminal. I agree.